Nation has revealed alarming health statistics from its recent medical outreach conducted during the verification exercise for pensioners across the three central districts of the states. Speaking with the Hope, Precious Akiwumi, Director of Occupational Health at the Commission, said our team attended to 346 pensioners, comprising 201 males and 145 females. She disclosed out of those tested, 133 were hypertensive, while only 12 were diabetic. The media outreach was carried out on the invitation of the Pension Transitional Department with the goal of promoting preventive health care among senior citizens. Beyond screening for blood pressure and sugar levels, the team also educated pensioners on healthy lifestyle habits. Mrs. Akinwumi emphasized that many elderly people unknowingly live with chronic conditions, and such outreach programs help them detect health issues early. She added that Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa places healthcare as a cardinal priority, stressing that the ultimate goal is to bring every resident, former and informal, under the state health insurance scheme. Speaking on the developments, Aderonke Ibitoye, Director of Business Development and Client Relations at the Commission, said the agency has plans to integrate pensioners across the state into the government's health insurance scheme, following the recently concluded verification exercise for members of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners in the state. For details, move ahead to the Hope newspaper with the headline Although Health Agency uncovers growing silent illness among pensioners. Political fairness and continuity in 2027, referencing the good works President Bola Tinubu had been doing since assuming office in 2023. According to Umahi, there are people who are highly qualified and even better than those currently clamoring for the position. The minister, however, admitted that the Southeast had suffered some measure of marginalization in the past, which, according to him, made it difficult for some governors like himself to deliver the zone for the All Progressives Congress during the 2023 general elections. It was reported that the APC performed poorly in the 2023 elections in the southeast, with the entire zone delivering a paltry 5.85% of the total votes of the party. For details, move ahead to the Hope newspaper with the headline It is not yet Southeast turn to produce president, says Umai. Alright, moving to the Vanguard newspaper. From the Punch newspaper, the Academic Staff Union of Universities will on Monday today commence a 2 week warning strike after the ultimatum issued to the federal government elapsed on Sunday. The announcement was made by the national president of the union, Professor Chris Pibuna, at a press briefing at the University of Abuja on Sunday. The renewed standoff between ASU and the government comes amid ongoing negotiations aimed at averting another round of industrial unrest in public universities. Last Wednesday, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, disclosed in Abuja that the government had entered the final phase of talks with ASU and other unions to resolve lingering disputes over welfare, funding, and the implementation of the 2009 ASU federal government's agreements. Alausa noted that the Tinubu administration had already made significant progress with the release of 50 billion naira for the payment of end academic allowances, while another 150 billion naira had been captured in the 2025 budget for needs assessment to be disbursed in three tranches. But declaring the strike, Pimuna stated, compatriot, compatriots of the press, it goes without saying that there's nothing sufficient on the ground to stop the implementation of the ASU-NEC resolutions to embark on a 2-week warning strike at the expiry of the 14-day notice given on the 28th of September 2025. Punch correspondent learns that the federal government had extended an invitation to the union last Friday in a bid to meet the deadline set by ASU leadership. During the meeting, the government presented a proposal to ASU, which was rejected by its leadership because the new offer did not meet the demands presented by the union. ASU is currently demanding the conclusion of the renegotiated 2009 federal government ASU agreement, release of the withheld 3.5 month salaries, sustainable funding of public universities, revitalization of public universities, and cessation of the victimization of lecturers in Lagos State University, Kogi State University, now Prince Abubakar Audu University, and Federal University of Technology, Owerri. For details, move ahead to the Punch newspaper with the headline ASU rejects federal government proposal, begins 2 week strike today. Who preferred not to be named because he was not authorized to speak publicly, dismissed rumors that the minister suffered a stroke or had been flown abroad for treatment. The source continued, as I'm talking to you, he's in his house. He has not been flown anywhere. Another official comment followed report by the Whistlers that President Tinubu was considering replacing the minister after reports of his ill health emerged late last week. Earlier, the presidency had confirmed that Edom will not be attending this year's World Bank and International Monetary Fund annual meeting in Washington, D.C., stating that the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, would lead Nigeria's delegation in the state. For details, Edom recovering, no plans for replacement from the presidency. Labour Party 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has dismissed speculations of a political alliance with former President Goodluck Jonathan ahead of 2027 general elections, insisting that no pact exists between them to unseat President Bola Tinubu. The clarification was made by Obi's media aide and national coordinator of the Obedience Movement Worldwide, Dr. Yunusa Tanko, in an exclusive interview with The Punch. Tanko's interventions follows growing political tension sparked by a recent closed-door meeting between the former Anambra governor and Jonathan in Abuja, a development that triggered rumors of opposition realignment. The remarks comes amid mounting anxiety within the opposition bloc, which has been employing a consensus strategy to challenge Tinubu and the ruling All Progressives Congress in 2027. On social media, supporters of both politicians have engaged in heated debates, urging either Obi or Jonathan to step aside for the other in what many perceive as a test of opposition unity. Although neither disclosed details of the conversation, the party came amid intensifying criticism of Tinubu's administration and uncertainty over Nigeria's economic direction. For details, No part with Jonathan, says Obi from the Punch newspaper. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has denied allegations by the All Progressives Congress that he is harboring the commander of the Osun Amotekun Corps, Adekunle Omiyele, who is being sought by the police in connection with the killing of some residents of Akinlalu community by operatives of the security agency. The Osun APC, in a statement, signed by its spokesperson Kola Olabisi and made available in Oshobo on Sunday, accused the governor of shielding Omiyele from arrest, describing the alleged act as condemnable, irresponsible, wicked, and unpatriotic. The opposition party challenged Adeleke to demonstrate a genuine commitment to justice by assisting the police in their investigation and handing over the Amotekun force to security operatives. The airport would not interfere in the process. For details, Adeleke denies hiding Amotekun commander blast APC from the Punch newspaper. River State Governor Siminalai Fubara is preparing to send a new list of commissioner nominees to the State House of Assembly as part of efforts to reconstitute its cabinet following the end of the emergency rule in the states. This development comes as the governor has decided to retain 8 commissioners who were unaffected by the recent Supreme Court judgment that recognized Martin Amawele as the authentic Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Governor Fubara had earlier announced the dissolution of his cabinet upon resumption of full executive functions following the expiration of the 6-month emergency rule imposed on the state by President Bola Tinubu. A reliable source in the government house, Port Harcourt, who pleaded anonymity for the lack of authorization to speak to the press, confirmed the names of the retained commissioners to the Punch on Sunday. According to the source, the retained commissioners include Dr. Adaize Ore for Health, Charles Amadi for Citizenship Affairs, Christopher Green for Sports, Joe Johnson for Information and Communications, Chisom Bali for Youth Development, and many others. Speaking on the recent meeting convened by Rivers Elders, which had in attendance Wike and members of the state legislature, the source said Governor Fubara acted within his prerogative and remains firmly in control of the state. For details, Fubara retains 8 commissioners. The World Health Organization sounded the alarm on Monday over soaring numbers of drug-resistant bacterial infections, compromising the effectiveness of life-saving treatment and rendering major injuries and common infection potentially deadly. The United Nations Health Agencies warned that 1 in 6 laboratory confirmed bacterial infections worldwide in 2023 showed resistance to antibiotic treatments. Bacteria have long developed resistance against medicines designed to fight them, rendering many drugs useless. For details, move ahead to the Punch newspaper with the headline Spread of Drug Resistant Bacterial Infections Rising. WHO's warns from the Punch newspaper. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has decried the cultural conditioning that teaches young women to endure shame and silence rather than confront injustice or assert their words. Speaking in Abuja at a mentorship and interactive section held to commemorate the 2025 International Day of the Girl Child on Sunday, the Kogi Central lawmaker said society must unlearn norms that encourage women to accept blame and suppress their voice. Lamenting the deep-rooted expectations that limit women's aspirations, the senator added, "Women have been raised to take the shame, wear the blame, and zip their mouths shut." The event tagged "An Evening with Senator Natasha" and steamed after the global campaign "The Girl I Am, the Change I Lead." Girls on the front line of crisis brought together over 50 young women across Nigeria for a session of open conversation, reflection, and empowerment. Apotilda said her mission goes beyond politics, noting that she will not feel fulfilled until her work leads to tangible transformation in communities that have long been deprived of opportunities. Among the guest speakers was anti-human trafficking advocate Yakubu Oyiza Hope, who shared the journey through abduction, banditry, and violence before rising to become a voice for victims. The event, attended by journalists and media personalities, ended with a renewed call for women to embrace self discovery, courage, and leadership in challenging societal norms. For details, move ahead to the Punch newspaper with the headline "Women Race to Accept Shame Without Protest," says Natasha. Alright, we'll go on a commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Do not change the dial. CTBEATS 90.1 FM. Turn it up. City radio station. Turn it up. City beat station. Latest current information. Now hear you day. Latest current information. Now hear you day. I see the hot too. We gonna give you back to back, back to back. Oh, I see the hot too. Turn it up. This radio station. Turn it up to City Beat Station. Latest current information. I hear it there. Latest current information. I hear it there. I see the auto, we gonna give you back to back, back to back. Oh. I see the auto, we gonna give you back to back, back to back. Oh. Latest got to with the button. I hear it there. Latest got to with the button. I hear it there. Latest got to with the button. Now we get trouble. Latest got to with the button. Now hear it there. I see the auto, we gonna give you back to back, back to back. Oh. I see the auto, we gonna give you back to back, back to back. Oh. I see the auto, we gonna give you back to back, back to back. Oh. Back to back. Oh. It's the beat, it's the beat, it's the beat. Yeah. Besides, say, listening to 60 beats, 90.1 FM. Always.
Hello, my beautiful people. Have you been searching for a station to advertise your product? Ew, why the worries? CTBeats 90.1 FM is the only solution you need because they have up to date facilities and wider reach of audience you can ever imagine. With CTBeats 90.1 FM, your business is sure to thrive. It's no further ado. Come to CTBeats 90.1 FM today. Let us advertise your business and product to the right audience, and your business will never remain the same but grow. CTBeats FM, AKURE, your daily dose of city vibes.
Alright, welcome back. You are still on to newspaper review on CTBeats 90.1 FM Accurate transmitting from Ayala Street in Accra, the Ondo State capital, and you are on to newspaper review where we give you breaking news from different newspapers. Alright, moving on from the leadership newspaper, APC sacks all local government and ward escorts in Enugu, executives of the party in the states. Chairman of the Caretaker Committee of APC in the state, Dr. Ben Nwoye made the announcement during the Enugu West Senatorial District stakeholder meeting held at Golden Royal Hotel, Enugu. He disclosed that the decision, which he said was in line with their mandate, was also in the interest of the party. He stated that investigations revealed that many people were laying claim to the chairmanship seats at the ward and local government levels. For details, move ahead to the leadership newspaper with the headline APC sacks all local government ward escorts in Enugu. A scheduled and large stakeholder meeting of the All Progressives Congress APC in Delta State has taken another dimension as the party state executive committee has announced restrictions on the use of mobile phones during the meeting. The party cited security reasons for the restriction on the use of mobile phones during the meeting slated at the banquet hall of the Delta State Government House at Sabah. A statement issued by the state publicity secretary of APC, Valentin Onojegwe, said all invited guests are required to leave their mobile phones in their vehicles before proceeding for accreditation. For details, move ahead to the leadership newspaper with the headline Delta APC bars members from use of mobile phones at stakeholders meeting. Senate President Godswill Akpabio answered the future of Nigeria rests on the energy, innovation, and determination of its young people. He said this during an inspiring event evening at the All Progressives Congress Youth House in Abuja at the weekend. Addressing the young progressives, Akpabio shared invaluable lessons drawn from over 20 years of public service, emphasizing the crucial roles of preparation, mentorship, and consistency in effective leadership. He encouraged young attendees to focus on capacity building and maintaining their commitment to national development. Honorable Dayo Israel extended his heartfelt appreciation to Senator Akpabio for accepting the invitation and for his unwavering commitment to youth inclusion and empowerment within the party. He praised the Senate President as a transformational leader whose exemplary journey through various levels of governance serves as a beacon of inspiration for emerging leaders. For details, move ahead to the leadership newspaper with the headline Akpabio inspires young progressives at APC Youth House. Alright, moving to the Punch newspaper, the Department of State Service has issued another public warning about a dismissed officer allegedly impersonating the agency to defraud unsuspecting Nigerians. In a post shared on its official X handle, at official DSSNG on Sunday, the secret police identified the suspect as Victor Onyedikachi Godwin, a dismissed staff said to be engaging in unscrupulous activities using the name of the service. The DSS urged members of the public to desist from any dealings with him, adding that all official enquiries and complaints should be directed to its verified communication channels. The new disclaimer comes barely 4 days after the agency released a similar statement warning Nigerians against one Barry Donald, another dismissed officer, accused of impersonating the service for fraudulent purposes. For details, move ahead to the Punch newspaper with the headline: Another dismissed officer impersonates DSS, agency warns Nigeria. Labour Party 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has faulted Minister of Works David Umahi over his declaration that it is not yet the turn of the Southeast to produce Nigeria's president in 2027. Umahi, in a significant move towards advancing gender equality, key government figures in Nigeria have pledged their commitment to implementing comprehensive policies to enhance the inclusion of the girl child across various sectors. This commitment was made at the sixth edition of the Osasu Shows Symposium with the theme Girls Today, Leaders Tomorrow, Advancing Women Representation through Policy, held at the National Assembly Library, Abuja, involving notable leaders, including Vice President Kashim Shettima, Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Saudu Abubakar, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and House of Representative Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, among other dignitaries. The leaders emphasized the urgent need to foster environments where girls can thrive and reach their full potential regardless of the socio-economic challenges they may face. They acknowledged that addressing issues such as education, healthcare, and economic empowerment for girls is crucial for the holistic development of the nation. Speaking at the event, the Vice President, represented by his technical advisor on women, youth engagement, and impact, Awal Liman, emphasized the administration's recognition of the vital role women play in nation building, stressing the importance of increased female representation in parliament as a crucial step towards fostering a stronger nation. The Sultan of Sokoto reflected on the rich history of women's involvement in politics and education in pre-colonial Nigeria, urging a return to these values and meet current challenges. For details, move ahead to the Nation newspaper with the headline VP, Sultan and others commit to policies supporting girl child inclusion. The joint public hearing on an amendment to the Electoral Act 2025 by the Senate and House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters is expected to be held today. The Nation gathered from a source in the National Assembly Clerk's office at the weekend that the hearing will be held in Senate wing. The source, who admitted that the Senate and the House have different versions of the bill. Some of the proposals in the bill are early voting by inmates, replacement of legislators who resigned or died before the expiration of their tenure, and conduct of elections in a single day. The bill also seeks a reduction in the length of electoral litigation from 180 days to 150 days, while restricting applications for review of election results to INEC staff alone. It also wants to stop the processes of replacing elected officials with those they defeated at the party primary after inauguration. Besides, the bill recommends the disqualification of parties that field unqualified candidates or present false documents to the Independent National Electoral Commission from contesting the affected election. It recommends a 10 million naira fine on any party that fields an unqualified candidate. For details, move ahead to the Nation newspaper with the headline National Assembly slates public hearing on Electoral Act Review Bill today. Leaders and members of the All Progressives Congress in Ikoba Oka local government area have passed a vote of confidence on the administration of Governor Monday Okwebelu. The Ikoba Okwa APC leader said Governor Okwebelu's leadership has steered the state towards progress and prosperity, as well as inspired confidence in the hearts of the citizens. This was contained in a communique issued at the end of Ikoba Oka APC leaders meeting held at the residence of a former member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Eyizua Agoyima. For details, move ahead to the Nation newspaper with the headline Edo APC leaders pass vote of confidence on Okwebelu. Dangote Cement PLC has commenced operations at its new cement plant in Antigua in Cote d'Ivoire, approximately 30 kilometers from Abidjan. The managing director of Dangote Cement Cote d'Ivoire, Sei Sek Bota, at a press briefing held at Novotel Abidjan Makore to announce the commencement of the operation, said the state-of-the-art facility spanned 50 acres with an annual production capacity of 3.0 million metric tons. He said the new cement plant, one of Dangote Cement's largest plants outside Nigeria, represented represented a strategic investment of 100 billion CFA francs, underscoring the company's commitment to industrial growth and regional self-sufficiency. For details, move ahead to the Nation newspaper with the headline Dangote Cement begins operation in Cote d'Ivoire with 3.0 meter. Nigeria's total domestic debt service required one reached 1.707 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2025 from April to June 2025, according to new figures released by the Debt Management Office. Data on the agency's official website shows that the federal government spent 1.686 trillion naira on interest payments across multiple instruments and 20.14 billion naira on principal repayments, bringing total domestic debt service to over 1.7 trillion naira for the quarter. The report indicated that federal government bonds and Nigeria Treasury bills accounted for the largest share of the debt service, reflecting the government's continued resilience on domestic borrowing to fund budget deficits. For details, move ahead to the Nation, to the Daily Times newspaper with the headline Nigeria domestic debt service hits 1.7 trillion naira in second quarter of 2025. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has called for the support of state governors and legislatures to ensure the success of the ongoing constitution review exercise. Kalu, who chairs the House Committee on Constitution Review, made the appeal during a courtesy visit to Enugu State Governor Dr. Peter Umba at the Government House on the sidelines of the committee's retreat in Enugu. He commended the Nigerian Governor Forum for its cooperation so far, noting that the committee was in the final stages of preparing amendment bills for presentation to the National Assembly. Paulo thereby urged the governors to work closely with their respective state assemblies to fast track the passage of the proposed constitutional alteration once transmitted to them. For details, move ahead to Daily Times newspaper with the headline Carlos seeks governors and state
Hello, my beautiful people. Have you been searching for a station to advertise your product? Ew, why the worries? CTBEATS 90.1 FM is the only solution you need because they have up to date facilities and wider reach of audience you can ever imagine. With CTBEATS 90.1 FM, your business is sure to thrive. It's no further ado. Come to CTBEATS 90.1 FM today. Let us advertise your business and product to the right audience, and your business will never remain the same but grow. CTBEATS FM, AKURE, your daily dose of city vibes.
Alright, welcome back from the commercial break. We've come to the last segment of the newspaper review where you can call us in to give your opinion or your reaction about any of the stories that last period to your hearing on 08071747422 or 08076900302. Again, 08071747422 or 08076900302. You can as well drop your comments on our Facebook page, CTBEATS 90.1 FM. All right, we'll read the president. But the Labour presidential candidate for 2023 general election, Peter Obi, has condemned the act, saying that it is not the right of Umahi, but rather the right of the electorate to decide the next president. So you can call us on 08071747422 or 08076900302 to give your opinion or your reaction about that. Also, we read to you that ASU has begun strike today, a warning strike of 2 weeks. Yes, after they reject the federal government proposal, saying that the federal government proposal did not meet their demand, in which they've been demanded for the past 1 year plus now. So we expect you to call in on 08071747422 or 08076900302 to say your opinion or your reaction about that. All right, to the listeners and dear viewers of CTV 90.1 FM AKURE, this is what we draw the curtain for today. Join us again tomorrow by the special grace of God. Keep listening to CTVs. Have a wonderful day and a productive week. I remain Oluwatoyin Olorunfemi. Bye for now.